Alright, so try to follow along with me here. I made my video about how Season 2 of Black Ops 6 is underwhelming and poorly handled, and that video is doing pretty well. Only a couple people that don't know how to spell were telling me that the season's great, and that's awesome. Our standards have plummeted so low that Treyarch could literally hand us one map and a gun that doesn't work, and we'd be fine. Apparently. So, I have now played both of the DLC maps for Season 2, guys, so round of applause for me. I was able to get into a game with the other map a couple times. I don't remember its name because I've only played it twice. Either way, it's a pretty cool map. It's very classic. I actually really like it. It plays really well. So good on them. Honestly, I love both of our 6v6 maps this time around, and that is a good thing. But they added the Shadow Hunt event, and this gives us a perk and a weapon I've been very excited for. A perk that removes tac sprint but speeds up our default sprint, and the FA-fucking-L. So I was excited. I woke up, saw that the Shadow Hunt event was live, looked at the fact that each item in the event is completed by doing a challenge, which is great. I wish we would get these like weekly. These events are awesome. I didn't care much for the binary trigger attachment for the Tonto, because binary triggers are just nothing. I'm not going to use it past like a little bit of novelty, so whatever. But I was very excited, obviously, for the FAL and the new perk. And then it sunk in. After I completed all the challenges. First of all, the FAL model in this game looks like it's ripped directly out of MW 2019 with its iron sights and everything. It's boring, it's bland, and I'm really wishing they would have given us a full, like, wood furniture FAL from, like, Black Ops 1, so it'd have that nostalgia factor or something, but instead, kind of have this uglier FAL in my opinion, but it's fine. It doesn't look terrible, it's just not how I would have included it. Either way, so obviously I start using it and I hate it. I hate it. It's a terrible rifle. Semi-auto, heavy left pulling recoil after several shots. 3-shot kill at 400 RPM. Are you kidding me, Treyarch? Are you kidding me? This is usable, of course. I know some of you are gonna be like, I got a nuke with it, or I do really well with it. Yeah, it's Call of Duty, you can shoot people with it, but you know, with the DM10, I could lower my RPM by 100, which is not that bad on a semi-auto, fire at 300 RPM, and get a 2-shot kill. And I could extend that damage range with a long barrel and pop people with 2 shots consistently. So why would I not do that? Why wouldn't I use the Sarkov and get a 1-shot headshot? Why would I use a semi-auto with high recoil, high visual recoil, and also just a massive recoil pattern that doesn't really fire all that fast considering, and takes 3 shots to kill? Why am I not just using the Goblin Mark II? If I want something more long range, why am I not using the Sarkov or the DM10? This rifle is irrelevant, and I know why. And this is gonna sound really cynical coming from me. Obviously, I do not 100% know why they included this like this, but tell me if you can think of a better reason. The only reason you would release a weapon this pointless in the meta is to hype everybody up and say, hey, come to our event, you'll get the FAL, and FAL is pretty big in Call of Duty. The FAL's been a fan favorite ever since it was first introduced. Then, people play with it, it kinda sucks, they're losing gunfights with it, they take on a crazy amount of flinch. I forgot to mention the flinch is crazy. And then they're having to get 3-shot kills with bad recoil patterns. It's gonna take like the gunfighter wildcard to make it work right. And then of course you're limited to 3 perks, and that's gonna make it hard to use the new perk unless you wanna do an enforcer build, unless you wanna do like 2 blues and a red, or 2 greens and a red or something, and that's terrible. So it's just not very good, right? So now they can buff the weapon, lower its recoil down to the rest of the game's recoil pattern. Seriously, this gun has a recoil pattern that feels like it belongs in a different fucking shooter. And you know when they changed the visual recoil in the game and made the guns a lot more consistent visually when you're shooting? It feels like that pass just never fucking happened to this gun. Like they did that change to all of the guns that were already included, so the FAL was left out and has like day 1 level gun kick, and it's pretty bad. So they play with it, it's bad, and then they can buff it, and then people will come back, and it's basically like releasing the gun twice. So first things first, start an event, have the main reward be a gun everybody wants, have it suck, and then a week or 2 later be like, hey, we buffed the FAL, you'll go play with it the way it's supposed to be used, probably lower recoil, better damage range, better headshot multiplier, yada yada, And it's like you release the gun twice, and for a game that's sort of struggling to keep its player base, that's not a terrible idea business-wise. Ethically, I can point out a few things I don't like about that. But when it comes to just wanting players in your game, yeah, it makes total sense to do this to the FAL. Now, when it comes to the Slipstream perk, this perk is pretty nice. You move a little slower than what you would with Tactical Sprint, but of course you get to maintain a faster movement speed overall, but you get to enjoy normal sprint out times instead of tac sprint out times, and that is worth mentioning as a positive. The problem is this game's perk system is still kind of terrible. Perk greed is a bit of a crutch if you want to do anything interesting with your playstyle, and Enforcer, while is a great specialty, you either need to run this with an Enforcer build, or you need to use Perk Greed to equip it onto a Strategist or Recon build, and I don't like this. Adding new perks in Modern Warfare 3 or adding new weapons in Modern Warfare 3 was exciting and interesting because we usually got some unique attachments and some unique universal attachments that came along with it. And adding a new piece of gear or perk in Modern Warfare 3 was much more exciting because the perk system in Modern Warfare 3 wasn't fucking terrible. When a new vest or piece of gear was added to Modern Warfare 3, it basically unlocked a whole new set of combinations you could do. You have your gear pieces, and that's going to dictate parts of your playstyle, and then your vest was like a chunk of perks, like essentially contained multiple pieces of gear in them. So when they add a new vest or they add a new piece of gear, you could have a brand new combination that equaled a brand new available playstyle, or just a new set of things to take advantage of. Maybe not a whole new playstyle, but just it felt like something you could use without screwing yourself. And adding this perk into the game that shouldn't have tac sprint anyway. Black Ops 6 should not have tac sprint. Tac sprint combined with omni movement and everything is just fucking stupid. It's a holdover from Warzone. Tac sprint has only made sense to me, personally, in 2 COD games, and that is Modern Warfare 2019 and its Warzone integration at the time, and Modern Warfare 3 with its larger MW2 style maps. Tac sprint feels kind of at home in those games. Black Ops 6 has small, predictable, straightforward maps and omni movement. You did not need tac sprint. People have been saying this game doesn't need tac sprint since the beta. Since before the beta. People have been sick of tac sprint for a fucking while. And hell, my personal opinions aside about tac sprint, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I have been saying Black Ops 6 does not need it. So now you have a perk that lets me get rid of it, but you have such a stringent, limiting perk system where if you are missing a specialty, if you're missing Recon, Enforcer, or Strategist, if you're missing those, you are missing out on a huge chunk of the game. Your loadout is going to be worse than the next guy's, unless you use Perk Greed, in which case you can't use Gunfighter, in which case you're having less fun customizing your weapon, and this is just a bad system. And I'm sorry, Modern Warfare 3, the year before this, did all of this shit better. Events, post-launch content, unique attachments and guns, and also, I want to point out, as far as I know, the FAL does not come with any unique universal optics or anything, so this is just a gun that you're going to slap on probably reinforced barrel, vertical foregrip, quick draw, infiltrator stock, and a red dot sight. This needs a massive change if this game is going to excite anyone. I think we need 8 attachments by default on weapons to make them interesting because, hey, you can't really fuck up the balance with 8 attachments because 1, the game already allows for 8 attachments with a wild card, and also, the attachments aren't really that interesting. They usually just have multiple pros, 1 pro, maybe 2 cons at most. Like, give us 8 attachments by default, or give us 4 perks by default. In an ideal world, this game would have 4 perks by default with the ability to have a 5th, and 8 attachments by default with the ability to have a 9th built into one of the perks or one of the specialties. Like Strategist being able to have a 9th attachment would be kind of fun. But I am so burnt making loadouts in this game. I want to do more videos about interesting gun builds, but not really because you can make super interesting gun builds, more so that it's just interesting if you're able to come up with an interesting gun build in this game. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Had to get this off my chest. Hate to make another negative video right after the last negative video, but holy shit, Treyarch, you know how to do this. You know what does well. And Activision, Microsoft, look at the year prior and how happy everybody was with that game's post-launch content, and, you know, apply yourself correctly. Because this game is going to hit such a wall coming into the summer. I honestly hope that EA just sort of like shadow drops the new Battlefield and it's just like, everybody have fun, and we just all leave and really just scare the shit out of Call of Duty for a minute. See you when I see you guys. Goodbye.